Good evening, everybody, and welcome to
The
another
magician just show up, the man. What?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How's everybody today?
Great, great, great.
I can't complain. I have
Excellent.
life. I just
Amen.
saw I just saw a friend of ours in the grocery store. So, you know.
What does that mean? I can't wait to hear this afterwards. Oh Lord! And that put a
Here's
smile
a
on your face.
Huh?
A smile on your face.
I'm gonna just give you a hint. Greetings and salutations.
In the grocery store. Oh, okay. Oh, he put.
Look, just before we really get into this,
Mhm.
KFC has a 12-piece bucket now for $61 in St. Croix.
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine. She put up that the large fries is 7.39 or 7.59 or something in Kentucky.
Mm-mm-mm. That
Like
is
I see it like a
bananas.
joke or
Huh?
That's terrible, my son.
What you said, Lucian?
I see it like that joke where you just boot me out. I said, what?
I don't know what happened. As soon as you said it, you were gone. We were Randy was just bringing up how much the KFC chicken cost at home.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Let me tell you something.
why.
But you know what too? It's amazing to me that people still spending that money and they ain't even complaining about it.
What? This is what my son I get a bacon. Bacon gone up to $5 a pound. So I was like, okay,
Um,
there's no need for me to eat bacon no more. I used to drive to exercise over by a park. I get out top. I was like, I ain't driving the car. So Brittany was $20. She said, I ain't dent the car. So I could care less because I ain't drive the car for 2 days. We putting in no gas.
Real. This is
So
crazy.
I given up certain things. I just given it up. I don't need to eat bacon and I don't need to drive to the park. So
Yeah.
what caught me as expensive today? Something I was looking at that was expensive. So I can when it
some
comes to
butter gone up. I had to go up on my prices last week to the market. The people I'm still buy, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Were you
skipped
to
it.
sell?
Baked goods
What did? Oh, okay.
like cakes and cookies and tarts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah? Okay, nice.
One over
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, I just
But
kind of
but watch
walked
Randy.
with his knee up. He got all sexy for his healthy relationship. He
Great legs is a
practicing,
plus. Great
you know
legs
what we're
are a
talking
plus.
about? Practicing and being prepared and ready for a healthy relationship, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
I just kind of wanted to, we haven't done this in a long time, but I wanted to highlight a small business. I have a really good friend. She's in the group. Her name is Jolene Dujon. I'm not exactly sure how to say her last name. So sorry, Jolene. Um, she lives in Houston, but she has an Etsy shop, and on her Etsy shop, I'm hearing somebody noise.
Thank
Um,
you.
on her Etsy, her Etsy shop is called Hey You Gift Box, and it's all spelled together. Hey You Gift Box, and right
Okay.
now she has a 20% off sale on a lot of the baskets, and she has all kinds of baskets. So I'm about promoting people's businesses, and so they're gift baskets for all kinds of occasions, Easter, birthday, get well, pregnancy, um
Pregnancy.
yeah, there's a pregnancy basket. And she's been on for 2 years, so I didn't even know
Okay.
it. She used to do gift baskets back in St. Croix, but come to find out she has her Etsy shop. So y'all need a gift bag. She sends to the Virgin Islands all the time because I think she uses UPS. She doesn't use USPS. She does corporate orders, all of that kind of stuff. So The name of it again is Hey You Gift Box. And then I also want to let everybody know that I'm starting my own little business. And it's not completely operational. It will be in a couple of weeks, but I'm going to be selling some soaps, some natural soaps, with shea butter, castor oil, olive oil. And like this one is called Autumn Woods. And then I have one that's called Black Spearmint. And I have one that's called Avocado Mint. And I have a Facebook shop, and it's called Amori's Joy. That's my middle name, not my sister's middle name. And I also have wax melts. I just feel like they're healthier than using a candle. This one is frankincense and myrrh. I can't really see it, but anyhow, you only use like a little bit and put it in a wax warmer, and it lights up the place. And I have like 4 fragrances right now. So anyhow, I just kind of like, it's getting there. But anyhow, as we start off today, was there any posts that you all saw in this past week that kind of caught your eye, or maybe comments that people made kind of caught your fancy?
Well, I posted, this post today would be from the Maury show, where this guy went on the show to go tell his wife that she was cheating or whatever. And then she was just, I mean, it was so funny because, I mean, it's not funny, but people's, it was funny because he was just like, yeah, I cheated on you with your friend, so and so. And then she's like, well, I gotta tell you something too. I cheated on you. Dude almost had a heart attack, yo. And it's just like, some people, they can take it. They can.
But a lot of us are that way.
And then you could see like the woman's expression in her face. Then Maury asked her, like, so how many kids do you have? And then she turns and watches the guy and been like, well, maybe they ain't his either. And I'm like, what? But and the man just crying and crying. But sometimes when we do things to people, we don't think there's no repercussions. So
True.
Yeah.
True.
And
Karma
usually
is no joke.
And usually us men could dish it out, but we can't take it.
Yeah, then we kind of talk like men don't handle things the way women handle things. So it's like I've been in discussion, and it never even thought about it, that a lot of times the majority of the time you hear a man either killed himself. You don't really hear, or killed his family, unfortunately. You don't really hear women saying that when they have heartbreak. So we truly have to be careful how we treat people, because karma is no joke, and everybody can't handle situations the same. So treat people the way you want to be treated. He was asking if there was anything that you saw this week in the group that caught your eye, was interesting.
Yeah, I like post Keisha had put up. It had 2 people. It had a male and a female, and they were talking to each other. And let me pull it up. This one.
We're a team. Yeah.
What I like about it, that we're a team. If you read the 2 sides, I don't want to go through it because it's a lot. But okay, the woman, she's, whatever you lack, I got you. We will balance each other out. Minor setbacks. Guess we'll make a major comeback. Bad day, and we promise that we'll have a better night, right? That's the female. But then the male side said, you need support. I'll be your backbone. I'll keep you motivated and at the top always, and you don't ever have to doubt my loyalty. You got me, and I got us. What I like about it is 2 different not two different perspectives. How she have him and how he have her is different. And a lot of times in relationship, we look at that and we're like, well, he do this for me, so I have to do that the same exact thing. Not realizing that we have different roles in a relationship and we show up differently, but in the end, we come together. That's why so that was my favorite one for the week.
Cool. Was there anything that you saw, Randy?
I like mine's, the one I posted.
The one you posted today?
Yeah, everybody wants to be in a relationship, but no one wants to give up their single ways. I like that. It has a lot of truth there. Um, there's people that have ways and they bring them to the relationship, but don't relinquish them anymore. They kind
Right.
of keep them down low and continue. And you can't have that happy relationship if you come in with that kind of agenda. So that's what it is for me. I like that. And some of the comments were kind of cool, but
True.
food for thought more than anything else.
That's true. Um, yeah, it's true. I think especially in the world that we live in today, um, we have so many choices, but we're not really, I've always asked this question, why do you want to be in a relationship? And I just think for a lot of people, they want it for selfish reasons. And it's kind of comes together, with what you and Pinky both talked about, is that um, relationships, the definition of a relationship now has changed from what a relationship was years ago. But I think at the end of the day, people are really coming into these relationships with agendas, unnecessary, I guess, expectations. And again, not looking at the relationship as a way to build each other. It's not like what I'm going to get from it. It's what we both can get from it together and build together. But um, I don't know, our definitions have really changed. And so this week, we're just kind of talking about, I wanted to get some people who feel, because again, I think it's perspective. What I might see as healthy, somebody else might not see as healthy. To get some couples to come on and kind of discuss what they determine has been or is healthy for their relationship, but they weren't able to come on this week, so we'll have them on another week. But the topic today is healthy relationships, and my thing is, what do you think a healthy relationship looks like for you, Mr. Downs?
I think the most important thing I would say that a healthy relationship has is communication and being aware of each other's behavior. I think that sometimes we need to look outside ourselves when it comes to relationships. A lot of times people, I'm sorry for this little interruption here, but he has to get comfortable and then
He sure
anyway.
is. He just walking like,
Y'all,
Hey,
y'all have a happy relationship.
I swear he's as comfortable as ever. He answered no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. That look,
come on here.
he's like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Like I'm at home, my day, my
Right.
house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before I was so rudely interrupted, but yeah, it's about communicating and learning how to be a team. I think a lot of times people are so into like, well, that's a man's thing and that's a woman's thing and it's this and that. It should be like, if you can't do it, I can do it, and if I can't do it, then you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Just about team building and being teams. That's how I see it.
But let me ask you a question, because everybody keeps saying, we keep hearing the word over and over again, communicate. What does communication mean?
So we should go a step further in
Right,
communication. We
right.
should also talk about comprehending each other, and learning each other. Like I think the most fascinating show that actually taught me something was our love language show, because it was just so like, accurate. Because a lot of times we go into stuff, and then we talk about this last night with Randy and different things about really knowing like what's your partner's love language so you can focus on it. If your partner's love language is more about material goods and different things, then you work on that. If it's more about like you know, getting thanks and appreciation for what you do for somebody, because you don't really care about the material stuff, but we care about just being, hey, thanks a lot for doing this, and I appreciate this, and I appreciate
Appreciate it.
right. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So then I think your partner should be, smart enough to try to like to give you what you need. So comprehension is something that's very vital, because I could be talking to you and it could seem like French to you even though it's English. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And I think too comprehension also comes in the state of mind that you're in at the moment. If you're not ready to receive something, no matter how people tell you, you're not going to comprehend it, because
True.
you're just not in the right state of mind to receive it. You know.
Yep, that's true. How about you, Randy? What does a healthy relationship look like to Mr. Cruz?
Um, it has to have a lot of opposite attracts in many aspects. What you don't have, she have or he has. What you can't bring to the table, they bring to the table. So with that being said, I think Lucian, you don't touch on that already. Communication with comprehension. I think I brought that to the table a couple of months back when I had my own little video session on the beach, and I touched on that because I thought that was very imperative at the time. However, patience. That's a prime example. Patience. Um, you don't want to have two people that don't have patience. You know what I mean? Then you ain't getting nowhere. Somebody has to have adequate patience and understand that, one don't have patience. So understanding that they don't have patience, it will test your patience. But if your patience is good, you'll have enough of both. And hopefully that person will then grow into having some kind of patience. That's just an example. Um, you could have people to compliment you. Be the yin for the yang, so to speak. And everybody should be able to hold one another up. It's team. It's no longer you or I. It's team. So whatever the team requires and needs and desires that necessary to grow, you're growing equally. You might not be equally starting, but you will grow equally. And I feel a lot of things too that people tend to forget in relationships that I did. I forget because I don't always use me. I'm like the real dude. Um, Understanding respectable boundaries. You know, um, you can't talk to your significant other in any old way and expect them to accept that, no matter how vexed you is. Um, I think because of me, I have communication issues, and when I get frustrated, I bust off, and it is what it is, and you take it how you want, and that's not really the right thing. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So at the end of the day, I would say patience, respect, comprehension with communication, and a desire for team for growth. A little
And
long-winded, but
that's okay. No, that's okay. Because
Oh,
you know what, I think it's
don't
really
worry, Randy.
important. Huh?
Don't worry, Randy. Pinky coming up next, so that wasn't long-winded.
Oh God. I think it's
Ooh.
important though for us to think about this because there's a show that comes on Kendra, where she's like she brings someone on live and she asks them these different questions, and like she'll ask the question like, "What's your deal breaker? What are you looking for?" And people have seen her show; they know the question she's gonna ask, and they don't even know these things. And I think it's important for us to articulate these things, because when it doesn't show up, then you know this is maybe not, you can determine sooner if this is not the path you want to go. But I think it's good for you to say it. You know, they say you should write things down. It changes for what you want at this different time in your life. But I'm just saying, like,
so could we ask that question? I mean, could we ask ourselves that question and we have an answer? We're going to be just like the people at my show.
Maybe we should do that.
Or maybe we should. That put Naya to the challenge. Because, yeah.
I think we have answers. I think we're intelligent enough to come up with adequate answers that make sense.
Okay.
Okay, well, I gonna come up with some of the
well,
questions. I gonna come up with some of the questions, but Pinky, you go ahead and give your.
Exactly. Don't be trying to like change the subject to go on. You saw that right? You saw that right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. I think relationships, I think we need to have a common goal. You and your partner have to have a common goal. Like, I don't think we have goals in relationships. We just think we're there in a relationship if we're there together. Oh, we're there together, we getting along fine. When you meet somebody, you know, like, where are you going with this relationship? What do you want? I think that's one of the foundations, common goal. Go ahead, Lucian.
Um, I don't think that we have to have a common goal. I think that
Why?
we can. I think no. Listen, I think that we can that we can have like we can have separate goals, but then we come together for a main goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you could be working towards something, I could be working towards something, but then we still come together for, as you said, the common goal though. So I
When
don't
I
think
say
that.
common goal, I'm talking about relationship,
Okay, all right, my fault.
not in our individual lives, in the relationship. So an example of that would be, you want to be married? Do I want to be married? If I totally against marriage on all grounds, I do not want to ever get married again in my life, and you want to get married, we don't have a common goal. If
Yeah,
I
but there's
want a
compromise.
long-term relationship, a long-term committed relationship, and you want a hookup, we don't have common goals. So that's why I think it's the foundation, because before I even get in a relationship with you, I need to know what you're looking for. And I need you to be honest. So that's also important, right?
Then sometimes
Honesty.
your goals change.
Yeah, your goals could change. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of times we are always trying to change the person. So the person might want a hookup. You want long term. You Gani thinking I could change her mind, right? She thinking she could change her mind. That's a palaver. That's trouble. If you want a one night stand, so Randy, I bring out a crucial word there, man. If you want a one night stand and I am not interested in that, why we gonna try to even? There's no need. That we just pour into this year. We don't get
Hidden
into these.
agendas.
We don't
Hidden
get in.
agendas is the reason why it didn't finish.
Right.
It's a hidden agenda. I'm not going to tell you I want a one night stand. I just gonna go along to see how quick it can happen,
You see what I
and
mean?
then go from there. That could be a point of view, right or wrong. That's just a point of view. Now,
That's so.
touching back on what you said about goals, if you want to get married and I don't want to get married, or vice versa, then there could be a compromise.
So what? So
It could be a compromise,
we need to discuss that, because the compromise
right?
is the common goal, right? Okay,
Right,
maybe I don't want to get married now, because we're talking healthy relationship, right? And we
right,
see
correct.
these are the foundations that actually break up relationship. People want one thing, another person want one thing. We're going in two different directions. We ain't going in the same direction. How we gonna have something healthy if everything going in if it's going in a different direction? So to me, that's what I would need. When I think of a healthy relationship, that's what I think of. So my thing is, what do you want? What do I want? I think we have to know what we want. Like at this age, Randy, you have stated what you want. I don't know if I have stated what I want, but at this age, I think we should know And the reason why I said this age, I'm talking about any age. It doesn't matter just this age. But to me, at this age, where I facing, old age,
Downhill.
it's not good, right? So I should know why looking for a relationship. Because when I was in my 20s, right, I was looking for marriage. Well, I had done married, but I was looking for marriage in my teen years. I wanted marriage. I wanted children. I wanted to be, those were my goals back then. My goals are not the same today. So I think we need to know what our goals are.
Well, that comes with maturity.
No, I had known when I was in my teens that I wanted marriage. I wanted
Women are 5
children.
years advanced. Women
So
are 5 years advanced than a man. So what you wanted at 20, we still at 15, 16, we just want to party. I'm
yeah,
just
well,
using the numbers wrong. So,
I find somebody who I wanted the same things.
and it's very
That
rare. It's not uncommon, but it's very rare because a man at that age, it's very seldom that you would meet somebody that want to settle at 20 years old. Somebody in between the two, still ready to have a good time,
yeah,
and the
you're
other half
right,
might
but
be, uh-huh.
you're right, but I find somebody who was ready to start a family because that's what I
Right,
wanted.
right.
Well, at 20, why would I want somebody who didn't want to start a family when that's what I wanted? Again, we
No,
talking
no,
healthy
no, no, no.
relationship.
Right, right. No, I'm just saying for you, you found that, so that was a good thing. But you, like a diamond in the rough in a sense, because there wasn't so many 20-year-olds that had that type of thought pattern or vision for life long term at that age. A lot of them still going to college. A lot of them still trying to figure out who they are. They don't know what they want. They move off. For us off the island, and you're gone to a big college. Now you see a city. Your whole life is in a mess because of new things happening with you, and you don't know exactly what you really really want. Not saying you, but in general, most people don't at that age.
You're
But
right, but
however,
we talking about so we talking ideal, right? The idealistic way,
correct.
right? And okay, I get pregnant, and so let me just not pretend like I had this thing. I was pregnant, and my husband did not want me to be. He didn't want to be a absent dad, and he didn't want me to raise a kid, this our son on my own. So we get married anyway. But we were done engaged. We were done engaged before I get pregnant. So that's a long story.
Shotgun marriage.
It wasn't a shotgun because I was done engaged anyway. Um, Anyway, let me stick to this. I just saying our goals have changed, right? When
Right.
you're in your 30s and 40s, like you may want to buy a house and a person may never want to buy a house. I just given examples of what I mean common goals, right? So
Hmm.
you need to have a goal, but you gotta be honest, right? You gotta got
Hmm.
honesty, you have to have trust, you have to have respect, you have to be compatible with the individual. These is the foundations what I talking about. This is the foundation for healthy relationship, in my perspective, for Pinky, right? Because if you ain't honest, it don't matter if we got common goals, right? And if you're gonna be lying, we got trouble, right? And if I don't trust you, it's just out the window. So everything falls apart underneath. They don't trust. We don't got no respect for each other. We ain't compatible, no how, no way. You know what I'm saying? This is just the foundation. We just laying the bricks here. To me, those are the foundations of a healthy relationship. And I need the foundation first before I could start to build a house. And I need a strong foundation. I need a solid one. So that's just my take on it.
Cool.
Okay, Debbie, your turn.
That was well said.
Um, um,
Oh, and I forget the major one. How could I forget the major one?
We got
I forget
some
the major one. Love, love, love. I need love in there. I need love in there. Yeah, I need love in there.
Uh,
That's
All
yeah.
right, all right, Pinky. Good
um,
job.
for me, at this stage, a healthy relationship is being with someone who we can work through disagreements, because I am not an argumentative person. And I don't like, yeah, I don't like drama. And I feel like if you can't be in a relationship with someone that you can agree to disagree, and do it in a loving way, that's like a big thing for me in for a relationship. Um, Also feeling like I'm being heard. I'm going to listen to what you have to say, and I want that you give me that same opportunity to be heard, because again, why would it be healthy if only one person's agenda, um, conversations, problems are always discussed and the other person's is not? I think somebody put it in here too. I think it was Shamet. No, I'm not sure, but mutual respect.
Hmm.
I think it was Shemet, yeah.
For
Yeah,
each other.
Shamet Gordon.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we have to have respect for one another, I think, in a healthy relationship. And like Pinky said, I think there needs to be shared values and goals, because if your value system is very different than mine, it's just, to me, that's not going to be a healthy relationship. Of course, it's a whole bunch of other stuff, and I would like the person to be affectionate, because
But that's also part of the compatibility, right? Because and sexual compatibility is also a part of it, right? If we want two different things, then how we gonna be happy? Like them is the foundations, I think. Why everybody get quiet? Why everybody get quiet? We don't need to be sexual
Ooh,
compatible in a relationship. This is not a
you
problem in
know,
relationships.
but Pinky, think about it at
no,
this stage in our life. I mean, a healthy relationship, you might not. You just learn to deal with it, because what if you're going to no? Listen to me before you start. Before you start panicking.
Randy,
What if you're going
Randy
to the
had to
relationship?
drink water and I had to catch myself. I was getting dizzy. I get dizzy instantly.
Um,
woo.
Keisha's in agreement with you, but I'm just
Thank
saying,
you, Keisha,
at this stage
because
in our
this
life,
was
right?
rough.
We know how uncertain so many things are in life. What if you get into this relationship with somebody and you do have that compatibility, and for some reason somebody gets ill or whatever? There has to be wiggle room for that as well, because the relationship has to be able to withstand if it didn't start out necessarily that way, but now for whatever reason it wasn't able to be maintained. um you got to find a way to figure that out. So
Well, we know that anything could happen. Anything could happen in your 20s. I mean,
yeah,
anything could happen.
that's true.
But we have to understand that, and I think this have been a problem in relationships. We don't acknowledge this fact.
Wait 1 second. I thought you said you were popping in and popping back out, Karen. Anyhow, go ahead.
Thank you for popping back in, Karen. No, because it's true. I would Karen, I would Shamet, I would with Keisha. We're not. I mean, we have to have wiggle room if somebody gets sick and stuff like that. Of course, we have to do that, right? But we going in as two healthy individuals, right? I may never get sick. You may never get sick. We might got 20 good years left in our bodies. Why are we like
Pinky,
pretending we might get sick one day?
but what if you meet someone and this person, like, again, nobody's perfect, but you have such a connection with this person. You all have wonderful chemistry, compatibility, and let's say, for instance, the person, even when you meet them, has an issue.
I don't want to have this conversation. We're just done. We just get a headache. I want to.
I'm just saying. Like,
People have problems. Yes, we know people have problems. That's not what we're saying. But if you know you coming in with a problem, you know that you have a healthy husband, or you have a healthy. If I come in with a problem, let me say I coming in with a problem. Like at this age, you're right. We could come in with problems. women will be going through menopause, they don't got issues. We have to fix the issues. We have to go to the doctor. If men have issues, they have to go to the doctor. They have to fix the issues. We can't just say, oh, we got issues and we done. We still young. Like we got 70s and 80s, so be friends and hold each other hand and cuddle. Like that's just my perspective.
Hmm.
Right.
So I brought something up last night. I said something last night, and I stayed true to that. I think that's how it determines my way of looking for the perfect mate. Um, if I can't picture me taking care of you at any point in our life when there is no benefit in you, you can't be the one for me. And as we get older, the sexual content of the relationship falls down notches. You know, when you're 15 to 20, that's like number one. You know, 20 to 25, still number one. When you reach around 30, then it starts to fall to number two. You reach at 40, down to number three. You reach at 50s, God, it got to 15. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's not a, yeah, it's not a major priority because at the end of the day, there's so much more to our individual than just that particular part of the content of the relationship. So I really honestly feel that, yeah, you can have compatibility, you can have all those things, but like Debbie said, what if the chemistry is there? What if the vibe is there? Everything is there except sex. Is that still a perfect, healthy relationship?
You gotta decide that for yourself.
Well,
You gotta
again,
really decide
well,
that for yourself.
right. Again, because you have women today. When I was growing up, I remember size wasn't an issue. I don't ever recall women saying, "Well, my son, if let me see your thing, and if it's good and it big, then yeah. If it's small, then no." I never heard any of that. Never, never, never. And in
And you don't
today's
hear that now?
society,
People are set up now?
well, I don't see I say people say that, but you could see it on social media where women, you know, talking about whatever size matters and this and this and this and this. But then if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the age group that have that going on, you understand, well, that's you know, a kind of immature kind of group, so they should do that. But I don't think at any point there's certain things that should be. I have deal breakers. Of everybody have deal breakers, right? But what I'm getting at is to have the perfect relationship, you have to be flexible and have compromise. So what if the guy doesn't do certain things or is not endowed or the girl is not a sexual nymphomaniac or whatever? You just have to compromise because there's more to the chemistry than just that. If it's healthy, you yourself understand that there's more to it than just that. So, as a platform, I would just say if it's good, it's a plus. If it's bad and it's intolerable, you have to just have those uncomfortable discussions. And then if it's mediocre and it's okay and you can work with it because it's only happening whenever, then so be it. But at the end of the day, I just think there's a lot more that makes a happy relationship versus that part, you know. But that's just my take on it.
Yeah, that's Randy. But Lucian, you well quiet because your thing used to always be, well, if you want certain things and your mate ain't willing to give you certain things, then is it okay to you let your mate? Yeah, you have said it on the show multiple times. I don't forget a single thing. Sorry. Would you allow your mate to go and be with somebody else? You see, Randy, because these are the things we talk in healthy relationship. We have to remember we have to put that in perspective, right? If you sign on with your mate and you say, well, I understand there's certain things, then that's fine. This is a part of the compatibility. Are you willing to give up or are you willing to do certain things? This is a part of it. Are you not willing? If a person, man nor woman, if the woman decided, okay, I only want to have sex once a month. Let's say the woman want to have sex once a month. Okay, Debbie blinking her eye, Lucy. Exactly. This is compatibility. You understand?
I blinked my eyes when I was looking at Lucien.
Okay, but you
Well,
blinking
Well,
your eye
because they
too.
got people might want that.
If you honest, like I mean, when you're 70, you probably could go once a month. But we still too young. But if that's what you want, and if you find a mate that willing to go once a month, then hey. See, we have to look at things in extreme, because when we look at things in extreme, we'll bring some understanding to things. That is compatibility. If one mate want to have sex once a month, or there might be a mate who said, at this age, we don't need to have sex no more because sex is just for procreation. You might meet somebody who might tell you something like that. Mating is for sex is for procreation. We ain't having no kids no more. We have sex. Then we hold hand and cuddle. See, everybody got an eyebrow up because this is compatibility.
No, I
They, they,
really
they,
some of
she must be in the
the
church someplace in the first
Even
pew
let
or
me say
something
she there
like
in
that.
the church. You gonna marry her? You gonna marry her and you gonna make concessions for her? You gonna marry her? No, because you're not compatible with her. This
but
is why
again,
it's important.
everybody perspective for
It's
what they
different.
Yeah, everybody will
Yeah.
sign on that it is compatible, because when I bring up these analogies, everybody's like, well, no, this is what I'm talking about. How
Well,
extreme it may be.
okay, that's no different than a man saying, "Well, if you can't cook and clean me, why you?" Right?
But
Because
that's
that's just some.
compatibility.
That's not compatibility because he don't cook nor clean.
If he
So he
wants a
wants
woman
a
that'll cook
woman.
and clean, and you have no
Correct.
desire to cook and clean, what you gonna be with each other
Correct.
for? You're gonna fight. That's not a
Well,
healthy relationship.
no, because he would figure that he would do something else that she lacks. Since he's lacking that, she picks that up, and then he will pick up something that she lacks to make it compatible.
well, we
See,
live in a
that's where the
world
trouble
where
does start,
people
Brandy.
no, but think about this. We live in a world now where there's a lot of people that are financially able to do a lot more things. So he made somebody, she doesn't cook and clean, but she really knows really good restaurants where she can buy the food from, and he's still eating good and healthy and enjoying what he's eating. She's just not actually being the one cooking it.
You and he got to decide that that's okay. If he said he want his wife cooking and she want to go to the restaurant, do we have the same goal? Are we compatible? Again, we
No,
talking healthy relationship.
but I
Lucian.
think too, like if you like somebody just put here like hire a maid or a chef. That's true. If y'all could afford to it, why am I going to try to force you to cook or clean when we could both, well, like when we could like, okay, you know what? Let's put together and then let's just get a maid or a I mean, if I get a butler, you know what I'm saying, or a maid or something to come and clean up and cook for us and so. I mean, that's a once again, you have to learn how to like how can we fix these issues? You
Right.
know, if a
And that's
man,
the thing to me. It's not
I wasn't done,
necessarily
Debbie. I wasn't done, Debbie.
sorry. Oh,
Okay,
sorry. Go ahead.
tell me, Debbie.
Listen, one pinky this time.
So, so the thing about it is like, for example, if a man, let's suppose a woman may like, yeah, I don't like to have sex, but if you want to eat me out, you can eat me out. You know what I'm saying? Then you can be like, okay, fine.
Oral sex would be the appropriate term.
Sorry, Randy.
But she may not want,
But
she
you
may
can't,
not just want
you
that.
feel
So
like
she would
women
have
will
to
always
respond by saying, I'm sorry, I'm not just interested in that.
right. You know what I'm saying? Or for example, like then you could be the same way. A man who have erectile dysfunction or something, he'd be like, okay, fine. Well, I will try to deal with you in different manners. As long as the main goal is satisfying your partner, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people we just look at things like without trying to like look for solutions. We just look at the problem. What's the solution? See, I don't like people coming to me like, if something happens, I know it happens. What's the solution? Oh, but what's the solution? Let's
Right.
fix it. If we
Right.
ain't fixing it, then what are we doing? We go talk about it. It ain't gonna change nothing. So
Right.
let's fix the problem.
That's
that
sort of
that
like
keeps that comes back to attitude, though. That comes back to
Yeah.
attitude because if okay, so I had a scenario where I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's my favorite sandwich, right? And I said, "Hey, babe, you know, can you fix me a snack? You know, and then she bring ham and cheese. So then you look at her and you're like, well, I like peanut butter and jelly, but you eat the ham and cheese. Days go by, you say, babe, can you give me a sandwich? She bring, I don't know, turkey and Swiss. And you look at her like, I tell you already, this is what I like. This is, my favorite. Why do you continue to bring something I don't like? And that's because attitude, there's no care about what is a preference for you because it's probably the easiest thing to fix there. Now, if there is none, that's a different story. But like you said, what is the solution? You don't tell them 50 times what's necessary. They don't either care, don't want to hear it, or something else. That's why.
And that's true because to me, like I remember like certain times, like if a woman tell me that she don't like mayo or she don't like ketchup, if I know I'm going out to go and get her like a hamburger or something, I'm not gonna have any mayo or ketchup or even tomatoes put on your hamburger because I know you don't like it. So then for you
Right.
to come back home now and then you open up the hamburger, I'm like, I don't like tomatoes. Like how many
Correct.
times have you done this? So then my thing about it, like, are you really catering to your mate's need? No, you're being selfish because you like if they take something that's important to them, then treat it as such. Something as simple as tomatoes
Hmm.
and a hamburger. It makes a difference. I love
It
tomatoes in my
does.
hamburger, but I'm not gonna try to force you to like it too, because guess what? It's your taste buds.
But I
Well, it's
think,
just respect.
I think
Yeah,
those, I don't think that relationships ain't perfect and you have to walk through a lot of things when you're in relationship, right? I think to me that's a matter of respect. To me, I look at that as respect. That's a part of my foundation. Could you respect me?
Hmm.
Could you respect my wishes? Could you respect my space? Could you respect me? But when we start in these relationship or when we end these relationship, again, what makes it healthy, right? Do we listen to our partner? Do we have conversation with our partner? Do we hear them? Do we create a safe space for them to be honest with us? Because this is the problem. Do you allow them to be honest and tell you things? The other day, my friend tell me I used to keep sending them a Bible verse every day, a whole Bible chapter. And then something said, just ask. I asked. He said, no, don't send them no more. I was like, he said, you were offended? I said, no, I won't offend it. Because I prefer honesty. Some people would get offended by that. Do you have open, honest, straight dialogue with your mate? Are you comfortable with them telling you, I don't like the sex we've been having for the past 3 months? How you gonna feel about that? If your woman come to you, Luciana, and say, I don't like it.
first of
Well,
all,
I said that last night. Hold on, Lucia. Hold on. I touched on that last night. I said
right.
the same exact thing. Brutal honesty. Not everybody know how to interpret that. So even in a regular conversation, if you don't have that kind of comprehension, it's going to be saying that seen as you're being attacked. Now you become defensive because you don't know how to do that. I put that in the terms of man having a tool pouch, and they don't have the adequate tools in their toolbox to communicate properly or understand constructive criticism or don't know how to uh, verbalize their uh, concerns properly and so on and so forth. So they tend to lose out on a good mate or person or a friend or something because the proper tools are not there in the toolbox. And one of them is like what you said. Can you handle a real uncomfortable, truthful sit down face to face and come up with a solution? Well, if you're not used to those kind of conversations, it's going to seem like you're being attacked.
Exactly.
And because the other person is just generally giving you the truth, Like the movie, you can't handle the truth. And the truth is, that is the truth. Some people just don't know how to deal with the truth when it hit them dead in the face, because they just don't. And now it becomes a defensive situation. And now I vex and I want to cuss you and tell you about your stinking this and that happened 6 years ago, because now I felt like I'm attacked, simply because I don't have the proper tools to comprehend what you're trying to get, across. And you actually just trying to find solutions, but I don't know how to deal with that. So now it's defensive, and I chups in and I tell you, scatter your ram. But at the end of the day, we still didn't get a solution. We created another problem, and therefore now we're more in depth and further away from the healthiest relationship that we could possibly have, because one person don't know how to deal with the truth.
Or
But you
the
know
fact that they'll sit there quietly. Lucian, let me 1 second, let me just say that because I just want to add on to Randy. People will cuss you or didn't acknowledge. But what about the person who sit there in silence and ain't have no intentions of acknowledging your wishes? Because that's also another side of it, right? They might
Yeah,
not cause
for
an
sure.
argument, they might not have anything to say, but at the end of the day, they ain't gonna acknowledge you. You could say till the sky turn red. So
Mhm.
Lucian, go ahead.
So anyway, um, I think sometimes too is not what you say, but how you say it. And I think that we as men, the way how sometimes people come across and express themselves, we take it offensively because of the way how they came across. And I think it's also your tone and just your body language, everything. If something is bothering you and you just been like, yeah, I just don't like this little 2 minute thing you be going on with, you know what I'm saying? And a big man like you and this 2 minute thing, I don't understand. You'd be like, what? Or you'd be like, you know what? Maybe can we try to work on extending, the time that we're having? I mean, it's a whole different way you can bring across subjects without trying to be offensive. Sometimes people don't know how to do that, but your tone and the way how you bring across a subject matter to someone is so it depends on how the person receives it. So yeah, I mean,
But
some
I
Or
think
react to it.
that's a
right.
conversation that the couple needs to have. Like, I don't like when you say things in this manner. I receive it better if you say this. But like Keisha put up, and the thing that Pinky talked about, if you see the relationship as a team effort, and this person is trying to tell you something to better the team, I think having that perspective, instead of it's an attack against me, or I'm not pulling up my socks, or I'm having, you know, deficiencies. If the team is the focus, and this is something that's going to better the team, strengthen the team, grow the team,
If the team is the goal,
yes,
because
then
Yeah,
some
you
and
people
relationships,
can
the
look
team is not
different.
the goal.
but and that's true because to me, I think the majority of time relationships fail is when you have like selfish partners. Partners who don't understand like it's a team we're working on. If you have a problem, instead of you running to your friend, running to your cousin, running to your mother, running to your brother, running to anybody, come have a discussion with me. You know what I'm saying? Some people just feel like they can't talk to you about anything. And to me that's crazy. Especially like,
Well, I guilty of that. I very guilty of that. And that's because I always had a negative out view on everything, and I always felt like it was an attack. Not understanding that, yeah, it could have been for the betterment of us or the team, but because I didn't have that comprehension level, I just felt it was an attack. So for me, I felt, well, it came very regularly. And because it came so regularly, I feel you nitpicking now. You see what I'm saying? But it wasn't that it was nitpicking, it's just that's the way a healthy relationship should be, you should be able to come to your partner and say anything. Whatever's disturbing or anything as part of growth. Growth is never, ever comfortable. You know what I mean? So to grow, you have to get out of all the madness. But because you don't know how to grow, that's an attack. And that's how I always took it. So here is the thing, not everybody is as intelligent as their partner. So with Pinky compatibilities, right? We forget a lot of things to put in there as far as compatibility, and part of that compatibility as well is in intellectual intelligence and a couple of other things. I as a
That's not
dude.
a part of compatibility.
Well, yes, because if I'm a smart intellectual man, and what's the term that they use, sapos, philiac or something
Sapio,
like
sapio,
Sapiosexual.
that? That's
sapiosexual.
stupidness. You could tell I'm not the intelligent one, but so I don't want to say that I want a dumb chick, but at the end of the day, you have masters in English. Let's just say, and I'm a concrete walker, and we come from two different sides of the train tracks. I used that last night, and then you using words and phrases that doesn't come into my vocabulary whatsoever. Now I feel challenged. I feel, and mind you, the problem is mine because I'm just not on that level, right? But then for the person that is speaking on that level, should understand that I'm not on that level and should be able to break it down so that I can comprehend. So compatibility on an intellectual level is also, I feel, would be just as important, no different than all the other
But it's like Debbie
things you
said with
brought up.
the. It's like Debbie said with the. It's. I don't believe in this should, what your partner should do. I don't believe in them things, Randy. You know why?
Okay.
Because who is the person? My thing is this: who is the person? Can you accept the person for who they are? Me and you may not be on the same, and I have never been on the same intellectual level with the men them I have dated because I just like very smart men and I am not on their level. But you cover me because I is your mate. You don't expect me to be out there talking these things and these languages that I can't. I cover you. We cover each other. That's teamwork. We work together. If you out there trying to embarrass me or you there don't trying to talk to me, we're not compatible. We don't need to be together. We don't need to be together because you shouldn't have to understand that because you obviously do not understand it. And I'm not fighting to change nobody. That's another thing at this age. I ain't trying to fight nobody. I done learned that already. If you can't understand that we are certain ways, and if I love you and appreciate you for who you are, I could compromise certain things. But settling is a whole nother different thing, right? If a
I
person
guess I'm not the guy for
that's like
that.
me then in a relationship, Randy, and saying you should want to be monogamous when the person is showing up to constantly be in multiple
Cheating.
relationships. Right.
Hmm.
But you should love me enough, because I've been there. You should love me enough to want to just be with me and not want to be with other people. Me ain't got no time for that. I don't know. My biological clock ticking. I don't have time for that.
I hear you. I hear you.
So this should, I'm not into the shoulds is what I'm saying, Randy. Who are you? Or can we work together? Do we want the same things? To me, this is a healthy relationship. You might want Polly, I might want Polly, then we want the same things. But if I want money, I don't want whatever. And you
You
say the
want
ones that
man?
make
Make sure you
I want
pronounce it
one, you
correct,
want
right?
multiple. And the ones that make up it all right.
Right,
Monogamy.
right, right, right.
I want monogamy, you
Right.
want polygamy. We don't want the same thing. If you
And I
want
agree.
multiple
I agree
partners
with
and I
you.
want multiple partners, we want the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I can't be fighting with you saying you should want to just be with me. That should is the problem. I think that should is what a mess we up. I think we don't look at people and say, I like him or her because she this, she that, she the other, she tall, she pretty, she got a good job, she don't make good money, blah, blah, blah. And then we try to mold them into what we want to mold them into. We
Um,
ain't
So
people ain't
so
clay.
Wait.
Well,
Let me
that's
just read
uh-huh.
this. Let me read this.
Read Shemet thing, Debbie.
Okay, I'm gonna read her, and then I want to read something else. Shemet said, doesn't do certain things was her question. There are some certain things that I need. I totally get that illness may happen or aging may change our ability to maintain an active sex life. And if I love my partner, we will figure out how to navigate that. But at the onset, I expect that we are attracted to each other and will have compatible sex drives. But Keisha said, if I can't have an intelligent conversation with you, then we aren't compatible, period. And then C.I. Gallo said, people also have to understand that you will not get everything you want right out the gate. Levels grow as the relationships grow. You work to those levels and comfortability. And Valerie said, well said, Pinky, expectations are traps.
And you know what else? I want to say this as well. I think the highest form of love is accepting people of where they are. I think sometimes like we think that to create this to shape this individual into the perfect person who we assume him to be, that destroys a relationship. Because if you're
Totally.
because if you are attracted to somebody for a specific reason, and then you keep on changing them, then eventually you be like, this is not the person who I want. Because guess what? This is
Well,
not the person you're attracted to.
Yeah,
You
well,
understand?
hold on. I gonna add to that. I gonna put a little twist on that. So you meet an individual, man or woman, depending on who you are. You meet an individual and you like them for who you met, right? And you're in love and everything's working out. But then that person feels that, hey, I could be a lot more. And they start to change for their self, but not to benefit you. You understand? They're changing because they want a better them. And now that they're altering themselves and being better at who they are according to them, now no longer attracts you. The compatibility is no longer there. What do you do then?
That's
Then
a
what
good question.
happens?
I think too, like if both partners are on, they've always said, right? You need to fix yourself before you fix anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So if you're on a self fulfillment growth pattern, and your partner is on the same kind of like, you know what, I want to improve myself as well, then eventually y'all should meet in the center. Because
exactly.
remember, it's like the ideal you would be the ideal her. You know what I'm saying? So eventually y'all will meet in the center, but it just has to be
Okay.
like about growth. You know what I'm saying? If you
Well,
if you
so,
saying
so
that, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
So if you're talking about like growing and becoming a better person and doing better things, if both of y'all were always on that same like self fulfillment, self gratification, self improvement kind of track, then guess what? Y'all gonna meet at the top. You might separate for a
So,
quick second for the growth, but then y'all will come back together when the growth is done.
so check this out. I know a couple that was married for 26 years, bro. Have two children. Got together when they were young. Her husband then decided to join a church. And when he joined the church, he he went full steam with the church, and he brought the church home. And his wife felt that was not a good thing for the family, for us. And they divorced now. He gone
Well,
with his way, she gone her way. Now, the point of the fact that I was trying to say is that when they met 26 years ago, it was all great. They had a great relationship. It was healthy, where they had marriage and they had children, and they went on to live, quote unquote, a healthy relationship. But as something in life changed, we change. And for his situation, I guess for whatever it was, he turned to the church. And now, he wanted to be whatever in the church, but it didn't fit the
well,
companion, and
well. You
now
see,
they're divorced.
But see what happened with that, Randy, is the fact that you went to the church to find something that you were not getting at home. And then you were taking what you get from the church and tried to force it on a person who has been happy with you for all these years. So how could somebody who you just get in touch with have so much power over you that you're not even like listening to your wife and what she wants or what she needs?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
the
And that's
well
the point.
the point wasn't about him getting that from the church. It was just the point that after you met somebody and all these check marks go off and all these compatibilities match and you have this healthy relationship, uh, somebody had a growth in a different direction now.
But
But
that
And you
happens.
I
have
don't think it was growth,
right.
but I don't think it was growth.
We
I think it was
I'm not
more
going to say what it was or wasn't because I don't know all the interns, but
right.
I'm just saying at the end of the day, the people you fall for and fall in love with and have all your checks and balances with doesn't mean that they can't change. So at some point when they change, how much change are you willing to change to adapt to that individual
you
And
to
have to
keep
figure
it
that out.
healthy?
You gotta figure that out. That's the problem, another problem we have in relationships today. We can't, no, Randy, for real. We can't foresee you've been married, divorced, Debbie been married, divorced, I've been married, and people are change, people are grow. If you go one way and they go another way, there is nothing wrong with that. And we have to come to a conclusion and conclude this relationship because this relationship no longer serves us both. And we come
Correct.
together as a team and decide, hey, it's not working. It is fine. You can't tell a person not grow and go to God because you don't want to go to God. You want God,
but
that's what
Pinky,
you want. I don't want God. I don't.
no, but Pinky, it's for some reason why that person needed or felt that they had to go in that direction.
I
The whole
understand, but
thing
let me
about
tell
it
you,
is he just he felt that he was compelled to do it for some reason. Now, if you just leave your wife and you don't really be like, and you run over here like, I want to do this. Okay, why do you want to do it? I just have a calling to do it, and I need to do it. Okay, so how are you going to incorporate us in this movement? You have to still respect your wife enough to be like, I'm going to go
you
this way,
you have
and you
to,
can
but
go this
again,
way,
we're dealing
and we
with
can
the
still do our
shoulds.
thing.
But again, we're dealing with shoulds. So now we're trying to force people into situations they don't want to be in. We cannot force people into situations they don't want to be in. If they don't want it, they don't want it. We have no right to stuff. I don't care if it's even God, which is the greatest thing, the creator of the whole world. If your mate do not want it, your mate do not want it.
And
What
that's
are you
true.
supposed to do? Force it down the throat? Fight for the
No,
next 20 years to
respect,
stay together?
respect
No.
your
Love them enough, and love yourself enough to let them go and be whoever they want to be. To love and care. If my husband come home today and said, Trina, and I'm not married, I fell in love with another woman. What you want me to do? Fight it? How you could leave me to go be with another woman? He fell in love with another woman. He want to go be with him. What you want me to do? I gotta let you go. Ain't no need for me to
So
sit
do
on here
you
and
stop?
tell you to stay home with me because it's the right thing to do because we've been married for 20 years. If you love somebody else and you want to be with them, I love you enough to let you go. It might not make no sense to you. But I want to tell you, these is the problems of relationship because we're going to sit down for 20 years and fight. You got to love me. You got to choose me. It's the right thing to do because you married to me for 25 years. It's the same thing with religion. If my husband decide he want to be a Muslim and I's a Christian, we going to fight about it or I going to let he go and be who he want to be and solve whatever God he want to solve.
so
We're
why does he
talking
have to,
healthy relationships.
so why do you ever let them go?
Excuse me?
How about you praise your God how you want to, and I praise my God how I want to,
We could
and
do
we
that
come
if we're gonna
together.
respect each other. But if we're gonna
Exactly.
fight,
And that's the whole
but
thing.
if we're
It's
gonna
about
fight each
respecting
other,
each other.
if we're gonna fight each other and create a toxic environment, we're talking healthy relationship. We could do it if you want. And guess what? If you love another woman and you decide, I love the both of you, and we come to the conclusion, I want both wives, that's also a decision you have to make. Okay, well, honey, do I love you enough to be your second wife or allow you to bring a second wife in? Like Debbie said from the beginning, it all looks different for each and every individual. But we talking healthy. We talking about non-toxic environments where people getting along and there is harmony, there is a relationship, there is growth. In growth, people gonna change, people gonna compromise because at the end of the day, we gonna grow. I hear a pastor make a I don't want to say who the pastor is, but he used an analogy about marriage. Marriage is like mashed potatoes. You peel back the skin of the mashed potato, then you put them in boiling water. Meaning peeling back the skin is a very hard thing to put a relationship through, a marriage. Then you're trying them in boiling water and bring them up to a boil, which is also hard. And then you mash them together and you create something totally different, which is mashed potato. It tastes good, but that's a relationship, A relationship is two different people coming together, creating something different. Together, you're creating something different, right? Are we going to do it and create something beautiful and harmonious? Or are we going to create something that's toxic to ourselves, cause illnesses, diseases to ourselves, been there, done that, and then in our relationship with our children? What are we doing?
Let me read. Valerie just put, that's Dr. Reynolds' wife, by the way. She put, in a healthy relationship, individual growth is respected and expected. Spiritual growth, if genuine, healthy, is actually beneficial to our relationship. The choice remains with the persons in said relationship to decide to remain committed or not. Respect is the key.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Beautiful.
Respect, yeah, respect the person. If you're gonna go off and become religious, don't try to push it on me when you come back in the household. I think like if you know that that person is not willing and open to do that, then don't try to force them. Especially if you want to keep your relationship. A lot of people think that like, oh, because I'm that way, all of my friends gotta be this way. And if you're a strong enough person, it don't make a difference what kind of outside influences you have because you're strong enough to hold your own. Nobody can come and force anything on me because my mind is strong enough to be like, yeah, that's how you think, that's what you want to do, so you do it, and I respect that. But just don't push
But
it
what
on me.
if it's you? But what if it's you? What
What
if
if it's
it's you, the one influenced from outside, and now you bringing it home?
well, that's the thing. I'm not going to. I was out. Let me tell you something. Like my ex had like this different religious thing going on, and I'm like, and that's what she do. That's her business. I am who I am. I go do what I want to do. As long as you don't try to come and push your religious views and stuff on me, we cool. It's just like the
But
whole thing with like with the different stuff with gays and stuff. Is that you can do what you want to do. I have gay friends, but as long as you don't try to
I,
push it on me, we good.
I
And
gonna
that's how it
correct
is.
you. I gonna correct you again. The LGBTQ community.
Anyway,
I thought you said
as
you
I was
didn't have.
saying,
I thought you didn't say you have intellectual intelligence.
oh,
I had
exactly,
to Google that one, but anyway,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
No, but you're right. You're right, Lucian. Because and I think that's another thing that people have to really understand in relationships is that relationships, just like life, is ever changing,
Ever
and
changing.
Correct.
most have never stayed the same. There's different. You're at different stages. Um, it just changes. What somebody liked 10 years prior, they don't necessarily like. It's when I got married, I wasn't in a healthy relationship. Let me just state that. But when I was married, both me and my ex-husband had kind of the same religious beliefs, and then partway through there, then all of a sudden he wanted to become a part of another religion, and I was steadfast in, you can do whatever you want to do, but it did affect our household a little bit because he all of a sudden, this was a man that used to eat. When I met him, they used to eat pork chops like 4 times a week. And so and then all of a sudden now we can't have pork. And I didn't really grow up eating a lot of pork, so it wasn't like a big deal for me anyhow. But the family couldn't eat. I didn't cook pork or beef. Everything was turkey, fish, chicken. And it wasn't a big deal for me in that sense, because at the end of the day, like I said, I didn't really grow up eating a lot of pork in our house anyway. But it did affect. It did affect because when I met you, that's what y'all used to eat all the time, and all of a sudden you decide you want to be another religion, and it had an effect on not just me but on our kids as well. So again, if it's a team, we have to, again, in healthy relationships, it needs to be discussed and how it's going to affect the individuals within that team as well, because if I didn't come into this knowing this was what's going to happen, and also just vice versa, if you go into the relationship and you were never a person that liked to go out a lot or whatever, and now 10 years, 15 years down the road, you want to do different things, again, it needs to be a discussion where communication comes in, open, honest communication. You can say, hey, like I like to do something different, and there needs to be a happy medium with that as well. And like
happy medium.
Yeah. And
are we willing to make compromises for each other?
Right. It comes to respect at the end of the day. Like, you can't just change up stuff and expect that the other person wants to do the same thing. But if you decide that
demand it,
agree to disagree. But how do you still remain healthy in that environment? Because it's going to happen. People change, people grow at different levels. People have different interests than what they might have had in the beginning. And you hear people saying, but when I met you, that's not, yeah, but people grow. Life changes all the time. And for people to expect someone to stay the same is actually kind of boring, because you want to grow and change and experience new things and do things that maybe you didn't do before, and again, that's where expectations come in. You can't expect that person's going to remain the same. So I'm just glad that, like, again, when we have these conversations and then I'm looking up information, and these weren't things that I was doing when I was in my 20s, but I just think that we're in a world now where a lot of this is readily available. And again, like, when I'm around my kids and their friends and my godchildren or whatever, we have these conversations, because I think that knowing is half the battle. And knowledge can only help you to make a different decision if that's, if that's what you want to do. But I really do appreciate a lot of these comments that I'm seeing. I didn't get to everybody, but again, thinking one of the questions before we only got a couple more minutes. Pinky has said, what was some of the questions that she asked? And one of the things that she asks people, number one, is what are your deal breakers? Is that something that you thought about? And what do you bring to the table? Because I think a lot of times we're always looking outside, what we want this person to bring and what we want this person to do. But what do we bring to the table? And how do we want to show up in a relationship? Is something.
Start with Randy.
No, don't start with me. I was just going to say, I watching the responses to Trina got a cheer squad, How much you to pay these people, buddy?
I want to know. She got fan base, my boy.
You don't send cake and cupcake and thing to these people?
You look like trouble. That's all, Randy. Randy, answer the question. What's your deal breaker, Randy? And what are you bringing to the table? Answer the question. Don't be trying to change the subject.
I gonna be as very raw as possible. Me ain't got a pot to piss in or the window to pelt it. So I have nothing to bring to the table. That's why I don't want to be with nobody.
Wow.
You understand? So that's just straight to the point. I'm not in a comfortable place in my life to incorporate nobody in my life. So stay your ass over there, and I gonna stay over here, and we good. And that's all I got on that.
But again, I appreciate you saying that, because how many people say they want to be in a relationship or they want somebody and they know they still have healing and work to do within themselves, and they bring in that toxicity into somebody else's life. So
I think, Randy, what you bring into the table is honesty.
I bring more than honesty. Let me tell you something. I feel I'm a great guy. I honestly feel that way. I've evolved into something I never thought I would ever become. And because of that, I commend myself. I've learned to love myself, understand my boundaries, and most of all, understand my value.
But that's
And
a
because
lot
of
you bring
these
into the
things,
table, man.
and because of that,
That's a big
I
plate of food,
choose,
Randy.
yeah, it is, but I'm a big guy. I choose to not have anybody because I am not 100%. And I can't come to you and expect you to come with 100% when I'm 60. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I don't want that casual hookup. I don't want that one night stand. I don't want to have friends with benefits. I don't want to have none of them thing. None of them thing intrigues me at all. 10 years ago, I was the guy for that. You in, I in. Don't worry about nothing. We evolve because that's the key word that everybody's saying here: growth and evolving and all of this kind of thing. Well, I have evolved to a point where um, I really want the real deal. But I myself is a work in progress. I have to work on communication. I have to work on the truth when it's stuck in my face, how to handle that, because I don't handle that well. I don't want to be that guy that is perfect until you trigger me, and then I turn out to be the a-hole that nobody expected. And that's just because what? I didn't know how to verbalize my feelings to you and explain to you in certain ways that, hey, I didn't like that, but I didn't know how to tell you that, because normally when I say I don't like it, it's always going to be aggressive, and there's not a necessity to be aggressive when you're just trying to get your point across. But then again, it also comes back to the point where communication and comprehension and all those things. So I is a work in progress, Dread. Until I 100%, listen, just say hello. I good with that. What I mean? I don't want nothing more than that, man.
well, I
And
applaud you.
and ain't no telling who all sees this, but no matter what it is, whoever sees it, just know that there are people out there that's genuine. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on you. One thing I preach to my children is never change who you are for anybody. If you make a change and they benefit from it, so be it. But don't change for nobody. So with that being said, I gonna pass the mic, of course. I just honestly feel that unless you are in a place where you feel comfortable and ready to deal with some of the stuff that people bring, then you need to stay home in your house and cool up. That's it.
Let
Well,
me just, before we go to the next
That's a
person,
lot, Randy.
one of
You
my
seem
one
like
of
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
one of my
that's
cousins
hard
he
for the
said,
rest of hard for me to follow.
I
Jeez.
know, right? I'm like, oh God.
That's
My
weird.
cousin Tarek, he said, I bring modesty to the table, and a deal breaker for me is dishonesty. My heart is too big, and a dishonest person can destroy me.
Oh, I saw what you were that day, my son. Cheese and bread. Me able with it either, my son.
Um, how about you, Mr. Downs?
what we
Randy
didn't do,
ahead of
like
the people, yes.
Huh?
what we didn't do, boy, girl. Like
I could go. I could
there we
take a
go.
dig at it.
There we go.
I could
Okay.
follow Randy, just everything he said. Now I know how to direct myself. I what's a deal breaker for me? Dishonesty, lack of loyalty, lack of commitment. I got a couple of them. Because like Randy said, this age I know what I want. 10 years ago I was married and I still wanted them things because I'm not the type of person. I am not into one night stands. I am not into friends with benefits. I am not into hookups. I have no desire for them whatsoever, not even a little bit. I rather go join a convent, and I decide over and over again, I will not do that because I believe that you passing on your spiritual demons to me, and I don't want them. Okay, so keep them. I don't want to live with nobody demons. We got our own demons to live with. Okay, so I don't want to deal with that. I'm not dealing with that. Period. End of story. So that's my deal breaker. My what I bring into the table, I bring in a lot. My list long, but I gonna bring honesty to the table. And I kind of like could be like Randy. I could be a little female version of Randy. Forgive me, because I gonna be honest with you. I just have to be honest. I don't believe in telling lies. I don't believe in telling people the things that they want to hear because to me, you're just setting up for trouble, right? So let me just be honest, you know. As a family person, I believe in family. I believe in love. I believe in togetherness. I believe in all of that. So I bring in all of that. Kaiga hipachiran, right? So, you know, and my children is a part of me and I will not leave them behind on me for no reason, even though they are adults. But I'm a family person. So, and I believe in the old fashioned way. When you marry to somebody, you marry into their family. So I want to be a part of people's family too. So them is my beliefs. I bring in those beliefs. Am I religious belief or Christian beliefs or whatever? These is the things I bring into the table. So I don't want to go in detail, but even though I went into detail already. The list is long, but yeah, that's it. I ain't gonna need to know more.
Let me just read again. Valerie wrote something. She said, Randy, you are ahead of so many people. Self-actualization and honesty are imperative in any healthy relationship. The most important relationship is the one we have with ourselves. Cece says that all the time. You are doing work, good for you. um and then someone, Michael Evelyn, said, I'm 8 years separated.
Mm.
um how about you, Lucian?
Um, I think the me that I am right now is a reflection of everything I've been through throughout my, of course, my life. I think that I'm more grounded. I think that I appreciate people and what they bring to the table. Um, I'm more in a focused state of mind right now. So looking for someone who is like on that same level as me is like paramount at the moment. I think that beforehand I would like, I'm not gonna say that, but beforehand,
I thought you were
Don't
tearing
say
up fast. I thought you were tearing up, Lucian.
no,
Yeah,
no,
Lucian is a new evolved dirty foot. That's what he is. That's all.
it. Oh my
you know what? And it's true, you know what I'm saying? Because the things that I used to do back in the day, I'm not doing that. I think it's so important to hold on to good people, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't come too often. And I've learned that. I've learned to like also like not hold back what I'm feeling in order to like spare people's feelings because in the end it's gonna happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? So just deal with the situation as is before, people get too emotionally invested and then, stuff happens. Um I think like because of my spiritual growth, I think that that's paramount to me. I don't look at just certain things like I don't take it lightly, especially being dishonest and lying and different things that I might have done in the past, and I know that I've hurt people. You don't want to hurt anyone, especially when you sit back and you're just like, wow, I
Right, you're going to
really.
confession tonight. Okay.
No, I'm just no, I'm just saying because you look at like the people you hurt in the past and you're like, wow, you know what I'm saying, and then now when you get into a relationship, when you're being good, and then you get hurt, so karma has no due date. So I'm just saying like, oh, half, sorry, half,
gosh.
no due date. So
That's the same thing Louis had said before, looking
yeah,
back at how he treated people.
yeah.
Mm.
So so in the present and in the future, I plan to do like and be the best person that I can be and show up in a relationship. I mean, it's all you can do. If I'm gonna show up for you, hopefully you show up for me. And if I see you're not showing up for me, then I will surely excuse you.
Okay. What is, you didn't say a deal breaker or
Oh,
deal?
deal breakers. I think that if you're not able to communicate effectively, I'm not dealing with that anymore because I think people were grown, and I think at a certain part in your life you have to learn how to be able to explain yourself. I also need to gain some more patience. I'm not really the most patient person on the planet, and I know within my past relationship or whatever, I could have been a lot more patient, because of what they went through or whatever. But having said that, I think communication and being aware is just like is vital because if you can't see how you're coming across or how your behavior is affecting people, then I just think you need to work on yourself a little bit more. And that's it.
Well, we're gonna come back to me next week. It's 10:04.
Whatever,
No,
please. You talk too hard. You talk too hard.
no more.
I'm surprised
No.
that, Lucian is like the time,
Oh
right?
no,
We
it's like
start
when you're
late.
done.
You guys. After you done, then we shut it down. Don't even try.
Let me just read. Someone wrote, "Agree, Lucian. My deal breaker is dishonesty or moving in a selfish manner. Have to be mindful of how actions affect others. This way, you move with awareness." Uh,
Exactly.
so somebody agree with you.
That's
Um,
easy, Gallo. See, I
yeah.
Gallo.
Finally, right? Finally, we had 99 pinkies and one for Lucian tonight.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Ah. Um, Deal breakers for me. I really, again, dishonesty, but it's a more about like the wishy-washy, like I want people to be honest with me. So if you can't be honest about what you like, whether I like what you're saying or not, that is really, really important to me. Again, especially knowing what I know, being through the relationships. Um, that's very important. A deal breaker too is someone like I want I don't want someone who's not thinking about their health and taking care of themselves and how they show up in their connection to a higher power. Yeah. I remember when I first decided like I wanted to date, I remember saying like I want somebody who believes in God. And then I met people who believe in God, but how they show up was very different. So it's not, it's just, I just feel like you can treat people a lot differently if there is a higher calling. So that's a deal breaker for me. Um, just hygiene and all that stuff is a deal breaker. Um, what I bring, I think that I'm a good listener. A good communicator. I'm loyal. Um, I give people a safe space to be who they are, and they don't have to, you know, be who they're not. Um, I think that I have pretty good values, and
Huh.
what? I think I have a whole list. Like I really do. Um, I think just overall, like I'm a cool person. That's what I bring to the table.
Okay.
Okay.
I could cook. Anyhow, like a whole slew of things. But anyway, um, I just want to thank everybody um, for participating, in commenting, um, you know, people wrote some really, really good things in there. And like I said, this platform is really just us sitting down, having these conversations, because growing up, I don't remember having conversations like this, but I'm fortunate that I have really good friends that we have these conversations. And to me, it's about, you learn, you grow, you bring others with you, just so that you can show up in this world a lot better. So I appreciate everybody for participating, for commenting. I thank you guys again for showing up each week. For Randy, every time I text and say, hey, Randy, you showing up tonight? And he's here. I appreciate you for that. And Keisha says she loves the platform. And so I hope everybody takes something away from these shows. Valerie said this was a very insightful session. Much respect to each of you. I find your honesty and openness refreshing. You're making a positive impact. Thank you so much, Valerie. And I'm just letting you know that we need Dr. Reynolds on again. So I'll be reaching out to him. But I want everybody to be safe, take care, be well. Sorry we went over time, but thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your comments and all the laughter. It's a good show.
What is it? Good. What? Sorry, what is it?
What is that?
I said, what is Louis saying? I mean,
you gotta be listening. I don't be listening.
And something things.
Good things, great things, and something. Nobody don't be listening.
I should know that after like a year and a half. We should know that.
Why you have to bring it up so people can know we don't be paying Janos no attention?
Wow.
That's terrible. Oh my God. Well, when you listen to this, you need to write it to the bottom of this so we can remember it. But everybody take care and stay safe.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.